Hi, how's everyone doing? I'm just gonna do a video about some quick questions that I was asking you on the page about there, and I'm gonna throw a few of my own in as well. Some of the answers I might try to channel them a little bit just to get some clarification, especially on ones to do with spirit that I think Nancy was asking about and one or two others. So I'd start. So Katie Burke was asking, she wants to know a little bit more about contacting her angels and healing if possible. Um, yeah, so the easiest way, I suppose, to contact your angels and um, guardian spirit and angels are by, I suppose, using Archangel angel cards by Doreen Virtue. They're the easiest ones to do to get to know your angels as well. I actually bought a book. Let me just show you for a second. It's going to be back to front, but it's called The Angel Experience, and it just kind of tells you about every single one of the angels. There's lots and lots of them. It's not just the four normal ones like Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. There's a lot more of them. Those are the four main ones that you'd be working with. So that's a really good one to get. So a good way to start working with your angels is putting out the intention that you would like to start working with them. So put the intention out that you're inviting the angels in, you want to start working with them, and that will start that happening, and you'll start to get, you may not be able to hear them I suppose physically or anything like that, at least at the moment, until you, if you wanted to develop it more, but you will get signs and stuff, and I want to talk about signs as well, like stuff. So signs can vary from anything. It's just repetitive signs. So if you're saying, I think Stacey was talking about the robin, it was really nice actually. I'm just scrolled down to it. She was saying her grandmother passed 2 years ago, and she's been followed around by robin redbreasts, and she always associates them with her nan. And a robin redbreast, the bird had built a nest out the backyard near the child's swings. So that's just a sign from spirit that her grandmother is watching over the children. That's what I got from that when I tuned into it. And funnily enough, I hope Stacey doesn't mind me sharing, but one of her children's names is actually Robin. So I just thought that was a really beautiful kind of coincidence that she associates with robins, and then the actual bird, the robin, is what she associates with her grandmother. So I thought that was really beautiful. What other signs? Signs that I get like on a daily basis, like twice a day I see 11:11. So whether it's 13:11 at lunchtime or else 11:11 in the evening, without fail every day. Usually it's either once or twice every day I see those two numbers, and I know that's just a sign from my angels to let me know that I'm on the right path, I'm doing a good job. They're guiding me no matter what I'm going through at the moment, and they're giving me the strength, and they're just letting me know that I'm not on my own or anything like that. So that's what that's about. They're there for support and to help you in our earthly existence down here. All right. What else? Feathers is another one. Like sometimes you won't always find like the beautiful, like clean, like pure white dove wings or anything like that. Sometimes they will be kind of maybe a bit off whitish color or something like that. But it doesn't really matter as long as you're. See, the whole thing with signs is it's what you associate with them. So it could be something like pencils. If you associate pencil with like just say for example, my grandfather, he was a calligraphy artist. So if I start seeing pencils everywhere or quills or something like that, I would associate that with him. So it's what you associate with the actual sign rather than the sign itself. So like if you're seeing robins all the time, it's not that the robin is, your grandmother or your grandfather. It's just that the way the spirit world can manipulate energy, so they can pop a thought into that robin's head. Okay, I need to build that bird nest in a certain place, or I need to fly by a certain person. So that's kind of how that works. So it's not that they've actually like taken over the body of the animal or anything like that. It's just that they have manipulated the energy so that an animal or whatever you associate with that at a certain time, that you will cross paths with that. So if it's feathers, like, they'll make you maybe cross the road for, like, just say you didn't cross the road normally, and then you went across the road and miraculously, like, there was a feather there or something like that. So they make you kind of cross paths with a certain object which you consider a sign, okay? And also another one for me is cloud formations. I put out a thought one day. I really wanted to know, like, a yes or no answer to something. I was like, I think it was a spiritual based workshop I was supposed to go to, and I was like, oh, should I go to this? Should I not? Yes or no? I had already done one of the workshops, and I was really debating whether to go back. It was like a continuation of one, and I was just walking down to the school to collect my son, and in the sky I just saw this cloud with the formation N and an O to spell no. It was the most unlikely thing you'd ever see, and if that was ever a sign, a clearer sign, then that was the clearest sign that I've ever encountered in my life. An actual cloud spelling the word N and O. So it's just things like that. So if you put it out there that you want a certain sign from someone, just pay attention, and the signs will be put there. They'll make you look, like I was obviously made look up at the clouds that day for that reason in particular. So they give you signs in lots of different ways. So don't just think it's the atypical, like, oh, it has to be birds or feathers or anything like that. It can actually be anything that reminds you of that person, that your loved one in spirit. Okay, let me just check there now. Just want to see if there's any other questions on signs. No, I think that's all kind of on science. I just want to get back to Katie's question about contacting your angels. So you can basically contact your angels very, very easily. Like, even with my mediumship, how it only works is it's out my own thoughts. That's how sometimes I can get it right, or sometimes I can get it wrong, because it's my own thoughts, and it's just about calming your mind enough. The easiest time is just before bedtime, when you're lying in your bed, your mind is still, and you can just, like, put out a thought there. Okay, I'd like to contact my guardian angel or Archangel Michael. I need some guidance at the moment, and just talk to yourself. No one's going to think you're a loony bin because you're going to be alone in the bedroom. And just start asking questions and just answer back in your own voice. And eventually it won't sound like someone else's voice, but you'll realize that the thoughts aren't your own. So you don't have to see, a big winged angel standing in your bedroom talking to you, like, face to face in order to hear your angels. It's just about it's also connecting with your own self and talking to the divine or the angels through your own mind, because that's how they communicate with us on a daily basis. A lot of people ask, like, who's your spirit guide, who's your spirit guide? It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because whether you realize it or not, you're receiving information from your spirit guides every day. So if you got, like, a random idea or a random thought, like, to go do something, or even if you're in work and you just get a spark of an idea, that would be one of your spirit guides actually implanting that idea into your head. It's not just you thinking of it randomly, it has to come from somewhere else. And if it's something that you haven't been thinking of recently, or something that has just popped in randomly, that's how you know it's divine guidance. So your spirit guide names, they don't really matter. Like, their spirit guides supposedly haven't walked the earth. They're energy based kind of upper level spirits, so they usually wouldn't, I don't think they would even have, like, a sex, like a male or female gender or anything like that. So it doesn't really matter who your guide is. You can just ask for your main guides to give you like guidance on anything, and just wait for the ideas or the notions to pop into your head, and that's kind of how it works. What else did I want to say about this now? Angels. Like there's things you can use like angel boards, but I think they're actually illegal in this country. They're along the lines of Ouija boards, and I won't kind of. I would just rather stick to the angel cards. How else can you contact the angels? You're not just good. Like you can use stones as well, crystals. Like in that, I have another Dorian Virtue book. It's a brilliant book. Again, back to front, how to hear your angels. I got that one in Easton's. I don't think it was like 10 or 15 euro, but it was a really, really good one. And in one of the exercises in the book, you use this. It's a clear quartz crystal, and it's all about visualization. Like you hold it at a certain point at the back of your head, that's parallel to your pineal gland, which is where you kind of use. It's all connected with your third eye and how to contact spirit and that type of thing. So you can use crystals to help you communicate with them as well. But I mean, yeah, it's just about connecting with your own kind of self and looking out for the signs, asking the questions, and being patient as well. You may not get an answer off your angels when you ask them first time round. It may even take a couple of days, but be patient and you will be given the sign eventually, okay? Let me see. And healing. I'm what you call a Reiki master, so that just means I've done Reiki level 1, 2 and 3, which is the master, so I'm considered a Reiki master, but it's just a title for someone who's completed the 3 levels. I never really intended on being a Reiki master as such. I just did the healing methods as a way to elevate my vibration so that I could communicate with spirit a lot more easily, and also for my own healing and growth as well. I would be more interested in the spiritual healing aspect, which is completely free. It's just using your own self. It's about calling on your angels, Archangel Raphael. You can also call on Padre Pio and also Jesus. I know a lot of people don't believe in Jesus these days, but he was one of the best healers that ever walked the earth. So he'd be someone that I would call on whenever I'm doing, if I was to do a spiritual healing session on someone. So, and it's just like you don't even have to get attuned or anything like that. It's just placing your hands on someone and the intention of allowing the divine energy to flow through you, to use your body as a conduit to heal the person that's in front of you, and that's how it works, and the energy just flows through. And it's shown to be very effective as well. The Reiki would work in the same way. Instead of channeling from the angels, you're channeling from Mikaya Sui, who was the founder of the Reiki healing modality. So spiritual healing is very, very easy. Anyone can do it. If you are going to start requesting to talk to the angels or doing healing, you do have to psychically protect yourself. If you're into the angels, like I am, ask for Archangel Michael's cloak to be placed around you, or to be placed in a bubble of white light. And also, like for protection, I'd also call in Jesus as well, or the Holy Spirit. Let's see, and you also need to ground yourself as well. So just imagining there's like roots growing from your feet and they're being pulled down to the earth, to a crystalline energy at the core of the earth. Let it wrap its roots around the crystal, and just imagine yourself, just repeat yourself, I'm grounded and I'm centered and I'm protected by my spirit family or your angels or whatever you like to use. So that's all for Katie's question, so thanks for the question. I'm just going through one or two others. Okay, so Jennifer Mulligan says, I have a code word I say all the time, and I've had readings done before, but it's never mentioned. Why? Can our loved ones hear us? Yeah, they can absolutely hear us. By saying they have a code word, I mean, the whole way the mediumship works is if you go to a good medium, they're supposed to give you evidence to prove that life exists after we exit our physical bodies and we go to live on in the spirit world or the spirit dimension. So code words, like, so, I mean, yeah, that must. But every time you go for a reading, like, even if you've gotten the greatest evidence, would you still like, be like, oh, it hasn't gotten my code word? Would you leave unhappy? Because the real kind of, I suppose, proof that it's the person you want to speak to is the evidence that you're given about their life and that type of thing. So that may be the information that they want to bring through to you rather than, just a code word. Because by code word you're kind of testing, like, is this really real or not? And you do have to have faith that, and you have to have an open mind going to a reading as well. But I can imagine if you go to a reading and you have a code word and you're saying to your grandmother, like, oh, the code word, you didn't say the code word, like, what's going on, is this not real? And that must leave you deflated after reading, I would imagine, as well. So they can still definitely hear you, and it's not anything against the mediums that you've gone to or anything like that, but try not to go to reading and say like, oh, this is the code word, as kind of like a proof, because in a way you're kind of stopping yourself from enjoying the reading almost, because you're going to the reading and you're sitting there and you're just waiting for this code word, and then it's come to the end of the reading and you're like they hasn't said the code word, like, what's going on? So I'd say when you're going to readings, just have no expectations and just be open to whatever information comes through and allow the evidence that the medium gives you to be that proof that your loved one was there with you at the time of the reading, okay? Hopefully that kind of explains that for you there. Let's see. And I can hear you, definitely, Jennifer. Just keep speaking to them, and if it is like for the likes of a grandparent that has crossed over, just keep speaking to them. They can definitely hear you. And just ask them to visit you in your dreams as well. That's a really special one, to wake up from a dream where loved ones visit you and you just have a warm, fuzzy feeling. So you can ask them to communicate with you that way as well. They can definitely hear you all the time, and they can hear me saying this to you as well, okay? Now, let's see. Nancy LeBlanc. Why have I never heard from my nanny? I was so sure she would try and connect with me. It's been almost 23 years. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because it's a very long time to go without hearing from a loved one. Have you ever tried, I would say, bringing a photograph when you've gone to a medium to see if they can connect directly with that? Usually with photographs, they can link in with that spirit right away. I know you'd really love to hear from your nanny, and it must have been really hard not to have been able to hear when you have gone for readings or with mediums. Sometimes, like, how it works is the person that comes through to you that not necessarily that you want to hear from, but that you need to hear from, and it could be whatever you're going through at that point in your life, the person that comes through is the one that has the most experience and can relay the most relevant information to you at that time in your life. Your grandmother definitely would be still there, but she may be just standing to the side to let the other spirit through that can give you the best information that they can at the moment. But I would say, like, if you go to a medium, bring a photograph of your nanny so that she can at least, or something, some of her belongings, so that she could at least link in with that energy so that you can get a definite message from her. But I can assure you she's definitely still there in heaven, and she's still watching over you, okay? Let's see. So that's all on the page. I just had a few more on my kind of book I wanted to go through there now. So crossing over, the process of crossing over. So it's my belief that before we cross over, that we're preparing ourselves, preparing for a few months beforehand, especially in the case of the elderly. I feel that they transition a lot earlier. I think that's why a lot of elderly people, they start to kind of, towards the end, like they develop kind of illnesses of the brain, let's say, and they forget a lot of things, and they start talking like they wouldn't normally have talked of, or talked as usual, if you know what I mean, okay? So it's almost like their mind has started to transition over to the spirit world already. So it's like they're half here and they're half there. And that's what it's like. So that's why they're like recalling memories, like, and they could be seeing, loved ones on the other side already. So that's why, like, if you've ever been in a hospice or have a loved one in that kind of elderly situation, they may say like, oh, I've seen such and such a person that's crossed over already before them, and that's because they are actually seeing that person. A lot of people can think that it's the medical condition that they have, but I believe it's partly because they're actually seeing and they're being greeted by that person, and they're just, it's kind of like they're getting them used, they're getting accustomed to the process of crossing over, and they want to make it a peaceful transition and a comfortable one for them. So it's not like you just pass and like you're thrown to the light and it's like a big shock. I'm sure that can happen at times, but in most cases, I believe our loved ones come from the other side over to help us with the transition, to make it as smooth as possible. So when we cross over, from what my guys have said, you make the transition. Before you make the transition from the body. First of all, you start to leave the body. Even while you're still conscious, you'll start to make that transition slowly. And what will happen is your soul will go around. You're going to visit everyone kind of in the family just to say your final goodbyes. And I know that sounds really wacky, but it's what I believe to be true. And then when you finally transition and leave your body, you're brought by a loved one to cross over. You're brought to the light, into the spirit world. And when you get to the spirit world, there's like I don't know, there's like kind of not a waiting room, but there's somewhere kind of like a room where you're brought just to be kind of introduced to everyone, to meet up with everyone again. And from what I believe, you're let me just, sorry, I'm just trying to channel this as I'm saying it to you. You're kind of showing bits of your life from the very beginning, because we're all down here for like life lessons and to learn from everything. So it's almost like you get a replay of your life to see what you've done right, what you've done wrong, what lessons you've learned, what you haven't learned. I forget what they call it, but it's something like a life review. That's what it is. So it's like you get to review your life to see what you've done and what you could have done better, because we believe that we come down here to learn and grow spiritually and kind of evolve to the next stage, and that type of thing. So that's what I believe happens when we cross over, and it's what I've been told by Spirit as well. Well, Spirit rescue is something I wanted to address as well. A lot of people, especially some mediums, don't really believe that this is even a thing. I remember doing a workshop with a lady, and she didn't believe it, and she said, what was it that, she said, oh, do you really think that, spirits are waiting to have a medium like rescue them and send them over to the light. And I suppose it makes sense in some ways, but I also believe that some spirits do need help to cross over, because they mightn't be, if you've passed really traumatically, and you may not even be aware that you have actually passed over. And also just wanting to stay around your family and not wanting to leave, not being ready to go to where you need to go into the light. And the reason I know it's true about spirit rescue is because I had been trained in spirit rescue, but then I had a reading with someone who didn't know I had any background in that, and it actually came up in the reading, and I thought that, and that was just confirmation for me that I know that it's kind of true. So, and the odd time I will, I'll go into meditation and I'll just ask for any nearby spirits that are having trouble crossing over to the light, just to, I'll just ask my angels and my guides to help guide them towards the light to get to where they need to be as well. Let's see. And just in readings, like certain people not coming through, it can happen. And just what I was saying before, like sometimes it's not always the person that you want to come through that will come through. It's who you need to hear from, not who you want to hear from. It can be hard for some people to take that because they're hoping to hear from a certain person. And I know in readings I've done, sometimes they've been spot on, but other times the person can't take them whatsoever, and they don't even know the spirit that I've actually written to them about, and they're kind of confused and they don't know kind of who it is. But it's my belief that I'm not the medium for every single spirit and every single person. So if I'm channeling, say, a grandfather, and for whatever reason the information that I get isn't actually related to him, it must be related to someone else in his spirit family that he sent on. If he's decided that I'm not the right medium for the job, he may send someone else in the spirit family that have more of a rapport with me and my energy, my personality, and that know how to work through my psychic and mediumistic faculty a little bit better than he would. So that's what I believe happens. And I do feel bad, of course, like when people don't get the message that they expect. But I believe that whatever spirit comes through, there is the message in there for them that they should be able to take in one way or another. And I'd also ask them to check with the rest of the family all the information, because it may be someone that the person getting the reading doesn't exactly recognise, but someone else in the family may be aware of this person as well. So I'd say don't exactly write it off immediately. Ask around and see, is there anyone else in the family that recognises the reading, okay? Let's see. I want to talk about my experience with sleep paralysis. I was doing tarot cards for a good while, and I kind of slept with them near my pillow, which I probably shouldn't have done. I gave them up shortly after this experience I'm going to tell you about. So I was just waking up. Well, first of all, I had the tarot cards beside me in the bed when I went to sleep, which I shouldn't have. And then I was waking up from my sleep, and nobody believes this is what I'm about to say, so I don't expect you to either, but I was just waking up from my sleep. I was half awake, half asleep, and all of a sudden I felt someone was pressing me against the bed, like they were pushing down. I felt like I was actually being shoved against the wall and suffocated, and there was just like this immense, the only way I can describe it is a feeling of fear, an energy of fear. It wasn't my own. This went on for a moment, then I saw a little spirit girl, and she came in and saved me. Um, I just saw her face flash in front of my face, and it's like as if she got whatever this other thing was off me. So I feel it was I feel it was a darker energy that had come in through the tarot cards, and this little spirit girl had come in to save me. Um, then when I woke up, I was walking around the room, and there was just like this. It was just an energy. Unless you do energy work, you probably kind of can't understand it. But it was just a feeling of fear. Like I was walking around the room, and I just felt shivers everywhere. It was just a really, really dense, dark, horrible energy. And I said it to a lot of kind of my medium friends, and they were just saying, "Oh, it could have been a manifestation of your own fears or this type of thing." But I knew otherwise, and even to this day, I don't accept that explanation. I know exactly what it was, and I had to go through my whole house and cleanse the entire house, and I was literally shouting at whatever this was to get out of my house. I was saging. I was, throwing holy water everywhere. I was, calling in all my angels, everything. It's only happened once and it's never happened again. I believe it's made me stronger. It's made me be more diligent. I burnt the tarot cards and got rid of them. That's why I don't use them anymore. I prefer the angel cards. I just feel like it's a lighter energy. But I've nothing against people that do tarot cards. It's fine. Like, it's whatever you're into. It's fine. What else I want to talk about? This video's kind of gone on a little bit, so you've probably turned off at this stage. Excuse me. Meditation I wanted to talk about as well. Some people find it really hard to meditate, but there's different ways you can actually meditate. You don't just have to sit down and listen to a 30-minute meditation. There's different things you can do. Even if you don't like to sit down for a meditation is just stilling your mind. You can still your mind's doing anything really. Even if you're, these adult colouring books, you can colour them in. It's once you're concentrating on one thing and you're not allowing your mind to be distracted by anything else. So you can do that. There's another thing you can do called sitting in the power. This is just basically you sitting still in your own kind of soul, your power, and focusing on your solar plexus, and you can just concentrate on your breathing in and out, and you're concentrating on the breathing. It's allowing your mind to be still. It's a really strong way if you are into kind of communicating with spirit or anything like that. It's a really good way to kind of build your power up and that type of thing. Let's see. I do like some guided meditations. I like kind of angelic type meditations. Well, I know I said I liked guided ones, but I don't really. I prefer kind of the angelic kind of music without. You see, the thing with guided meditations is you need someone that has a good voice for the actual meditation. If someone's like smacking their lips and slurping or anything like that, or you can hear like the noise of the mouth, like the saliva, like it just, you can't have that when you're doing a meditation. The person has to have a really calm and kind of soothing kind of voice, and there can't be any distractions in their voice as well. So you need someone kind of a really good one. Someone I like on YouTube, Josie Grouse. I'm not sure where she's from, but she's a very good one. She's really angelic as well, so you should look her up. Yeah, but meditation can be done in lots of different ways. It doesn't have to be the same boring way. You can even do like walking meditations, and it's just about just walking and just looking, observing all around, and not letting your thoughts kind of wander, but just observing nature as you're walking around. And just breathing in the air as you're going along as well. It's really great to have an early morning walk as well when there's not too many people around, or there's not a lot of people walking their dogs, that type of thing. I used to go on cycles, and I found that really kind of like a meditation, because there wasn't a lot going through my mind, because I was just concentrating on the cycling aspect of it. I want to talk about, I think it's going to be the final thing, because this is going on a bit. I've been getting a good few messages from people about maybe unwanted spirits in their house and that type of thing. There was one lady, she was saying that there was a kind of a ghost or a spirit in the house, causing a lot of noise and racket, and glasses would just shatter randomly. And I was a bit worried for her like that, because usually spirit wouldn't do kind of things like that. I can make glasses shatter and that type of thing. So I just advised her to do a cleansing of the house, and it's, even if you're not religious, it's no harm to keep kind of things like, you know, the angel figurines or the crosses in the house. And even, I know when I moved into my house, I had a priest come down to bless the house. It's no harm to get that done either. It's just so that you have a clear, it's just like so that you have like a physical kind of boundary in your house, that this house is protected and this type of thing. Because I suppose, like, it's like in life, like there's good spirits and there's not so nice spirits. It would be a bit foolish to think that there's just all like angels and fairies running around, and you know, there's nothing else. Like, if there's good people and there's bad people in the world, why would they're not going to magically become good when they go to the spirit world, are they? So they're going to be still hanging around, and there's going to be mischievous ones as well. Maybe that don't want to cross over fully, they want to stay and kind of cause a little bit of mischief. And it's just about putting up your own boundaries in your own home, and just letting them know that they need to leave your space, and reclaiming your own space as well. I was going to say something's gone out of my head now. Must have been that important though. So yeah, it's just about reclaiming your own space, and just not allowing them to kind of rule your life. And especially like if you've got children, and you can't be having spirits smashing glasses spontaneously in your house. I mean, there can be instances of where you move into a pre-owned house, and there could have been someone who passed away in the house, and they might not be happy with someone else coming into the house to live there. They might think that they're still living there. They mightn't even be aware that they've passed away, and they could get, I don't know what to say, angry, but they might not be so happy, and they might be kind of doing things in the actual house so that the people get scared and kind of move out. But I don't think there'd be any malice specifically involved in it. But that's what I reckon was happening in that case anyway. So I just advised her to do a house cleansing, and to maybe get a priest into the house, because it seemed like this whatever house she was in, like the spirit was following her. So I know they say there's no such thing as attachments, but maybe it was just following her around because it was attracted to her energy or that type of thing. So I just think people need to be careful and diligent, like not to be messing with things they shouldn't be messing with. Like, stay away from stuff like Ouija boards and, you know, this type of thing. And like there's some dodgy stuff out there. You just need to be really careful about what you're messing with. And you need to understand that the spirit world is real, and there's dangers with the spirit world as well. That it's not all fun and games, and it's another world that we pass into one day, and you need to treat them with respect as well as you would people in the physical world. So it's just about practicing caution and common sense as well, really. Just don't mess with stuff that you're not supposed to mess with, because it can probably wreak havoc on your life. Just want to see if there's any other questions. I don't think there is. Sorry, just 1 second now. Just while I'm seeing this, any other questions? Oh, wait, here's another one, I think. Wait. I think it is at least. Wait. Amanda was saying, I don't cry when encountering others with bad energy. I get coughs and colds and sore throats. Yeah, that's just about protecting your, I suppose, your own energy from absorbing. Like if you're empathic, like you will pick up stuff from other people, and also if you have certain chakras blocked and that type of thing, it can affect your kind of throat. So if I know if I'm getting lots of sore throats, that I could maybe have an issue with no, sorry, it's the other way around. So if I have a blocked throat chakra, which is here, I could be getting lots of physical things like throat illnesses or sore throats or that type of thing. Or if you have a blocked solar plexus, you could be having things like IBS or gluten intolerance or these types of things. They're all related to the chakras. Well, that's what I believe anyway. Let's see. I think that's everything anyway. I know this video went on for over 40 minutes, so I hope I didn't put you all asleep. If you do have any other questions, I'd like to do one of these again if possible. And if you have any requests or anything else you want me to go through, I'd be happy to answer them on video as best as I can. Yeah, I hope to see you next time. Alright, thanks, bye.